Welcome back to Northwest City Politics in the Know with Juanita. We're glad that you're joining us for our show this night. We're always happy for people like you, people that are interested in what's happening in our cities. Because it is important for good government that there be a flow of ideas back and forth between the city council and mayor, the staff of the city, and most importantly you, the residents that live there. So we're glad that you're interested in what's happening. And if you haven't watched our show before, each week we'll have someone on from one of the 9 cities in CCX's viewing area to tell us about the current projects and current areas that that city is dealing with, and kind of bring you up to date and prepare you if something is going to need your vote. So we hope that you will keep in contact with the people in your city, and if it's your city that's on that night, copy down the email and the phone number, because our councilors and the mayors do want to hear from you. We're going to be looking into the areas of development and redevelopment in our cities. We have 9 cities in CCX's viewing area, and the cities that are farthest to the west, Brooklyn Park, Maple Grove, Plymouth, are all ones that have plots of land that have had nothing built on it. So they're going to need to develop that property. Our inner cities, the Golden Valley, New Hope, Crystal, Robbinsdale, Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, have most, if not all, of their land built up or developed. So if they're going to be doing any work to change what's happening there, they're going to be doing redevelopment of the property. They might need to combine segments of property together so it'll be attractive to builders. They might be needing to tear down a building that's getting a little old and a little blighted. So they're going to be in a different kind of process, but both of them will end up with new businesses and new taxes coming into the community. What happens and what's built in any particular part of your city comes out of your city's comprehensive plan. That plan was redone last year, so it's starting in 2020, and in 2020 to 2030, it's a 10-year period. All kinds of different aspects of your city there's planning going forwards, from the financing to the recreation to the development or redevelopment in your city. But the comprehensive plan will show you what is planned for any particular part of the city, where they're planning for condominiums, or where they're planning for single-family housing, or where they're planning for business or industrial. It is a good tool to use if you're looking for a home and you're wondering what's going to happen to that field over there or with that across the street from me. And if you look at the city's comprehensive plan, that will give you a good idea. It is available on your city's website. Once the city has some property, they may buy the property and develop it themselves, like where they put in a library a while back out in Maple Grove. The library had to buy the property and also work it through. The city might buy property to work on because it helps with the whole development process. And the city will use different tools to finance it. They might use bonding, they might use tax increment financing, and they might look for grants and that type of thing. Or the builder will need to come up with financing before the project can go forward, which happens sometimes, that they get ideas for a project, put it together, and it takes a while before they can put the financing together. But the city has, particularly the older cities, have the option of tax increment financing to help attract businesses to come and build in their community. Tax increment financing is a process whereby currently the land with the old broken down building gets taxes of, let's say, $100 a month. And after a new manufacturing plant was put on there, it might get taxes for $1,000 a month. So they'd have like a $900 difference each month. That money is the tax increment that can be financed, and that the amount of new taxes coming in over a period of time, maybe 5, 10, 15 years, can be used to prepare the land to make the whole process more attractive to the builder to come in. And it does allow cities to do that kind of development where they might not have been able to do it before. So you can learn more about that if you're interested in that whole process. But the city will if it's a city project, they'll start out with a request for proposals. And they might do that also on a project where they're hoping other businesses will get involved. But the request for proposal is for businesses to tell the city what they would build on that particular plot of land. And the request for proposal gives the city and the business a place to start talking. As they talk back and forth and come to something that both of them can agree on, then that project might go forward. So we'll ask you to listen to the different mayors and city council people talk about the development going on. And if you have any questions about development or redevelopment that you'd like us to do in a future show, be sure to email us or give us a call and let us know. Now, on to our first city. Again, and we'll switch to redevelopment in New Hope. Now, one of the projects that got done during this since January, I think, if I'm right, are the Ironwood Apartments. They're on Bass Lake Road right by the golf course.
Yeah.
And maybe you can describe the projects for us.
Ironwood is a 4-story, 182 luxury apartment building that was built on the site. It's Yukon and Bass Lake Road. That the city bought the buildings that were on there previously, apartments that were horribly dilapidated and were sinking. And so the city bought those, and then we ran into the recession issues, and nobody could build. Nobody had the money, and so we've sat on that land until now, and you know, we really hats off to the previous councils that, you know, made that decision to buy that, because now we have this beautiful building which offers a type of housing that New Hope didn't have. And we have a lot of apartments, but boy, we didn't have any luxury apartments. And these are great. These are great apartments. I've been through it a number of times. It's a $43 million project that began in the summer of 2017 and started allowing people in January 1 of 2019. And I believe they're full. This council agreed to do a TIF district to help offset some of the authorized expenditures, land, building acquisition, site improvements, things like that.
And things that prepare the land for the builder, right?
Exactly. So that was really a neat thing for us to be able to present.
And then it kind of fits in because luxury apartments, golf course, right?
Absolutely.
People think that connect the two together, right?
Yeah, and they should.
Yeah.
They should.
Now Mart is a new gas station that's coming in, and it's on Bass Lake Road. Maybe you can tell us about some of the distinguishing features about that gas station and how it came about.
Yeah. These are the same owners of a gas station that is just west of the city. It's on 42nd, just west of 169. And they decided they wanted to come to New Hope, and they have opened up a 5,060 square foot building, which is a convenience store and a gas station. It opened in December of 2018 on the 7200 block of Bass Lake Road. They're constructing a 780 square foot car wash, and that will be completed this summer. And the really interesting thing about this is that it has a water retention,
Yeah.
and it takes that water and uses it for the car wash. So it's gathering rainwater, filtering it, making sure it's clean enough, and is being used to wash cars. Also, they are retaining the water from the car wash
Oh, yeah.
and recycling and reusing that. It's a recycle reuse. That's an $8.4 million project that was built on a site of a really underutilized retail building.
I'm kind of looking to a greener future, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I
It's
thought
nice to
that
be on the
was-
cutting edge of
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah, because I don't think there's many gas stations car washes like that around, are there?
No.
At least not that I'm aware of.
Right. Yep. Nope. There are not.
Now let's move on to update people on what's happening on the new police station, City Hall. That's
Yeah.
been coming up, getting to a good point. But maybe you can tell us briefly about the steps that the city councils took to arrive at the decision that that's what needed to be done.
Yeah.
So we'll start there.
Yeah. There was an incredible amount of pre-planning to see what would be the best direction to go.
Right.
And we took that out of staff's hands. We took that out of the council's hands. And there was a space needs work group that task force, we called them.
Right.
And they were made up of commission members. They were made up of business owners in the community. They were made up of residents. And this group of people, 13 individuals, really studied this. They toured, they found out really what shape City Hall and the police department was in. They toured other area police departments and city halls. They met with the builders and Wold Architect, they're not the builders, but Wold Architect, and really took a very open-minded approach to this. And the decision was made, they came up with a recommendation that they provided to the council, and that was that we should construct a new city hall and police department. The police department, when I was working there, was horribly inefficient and didn't meet the Department of Correction standards, as well as there were some very major safety flaws in the actual police department itself.
And then how old is the building?
It was, I think it was in the mid-60s.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was time. And so they made that recommendation to us. We then went to the public. And we did a lot of open houses.
Yeah, you did.
We had, listening sessions, and we asked about it in our Leatherman survey out to the community, and people were in favor of us doing that. We provided as much information as possible, what we knew what we believed the increase in taxes would be, so that people were able to really make a informed decision in getting back to us. And the vast majority of people were very, very positive about it. So.
Now, you picked a particular contractor that built the facility.
Yep.
And what were the steps that kind of it went through that they had to do before somebody could go tonight and drive right by the building and see it in its splendor, right?
Yeah. Well, there had to be a fair amount of work done on Xylon Avenue, and that's the road that's between City Hall and Hy-Vee.
Right.
And there needed to be additional infrastructure that was put into place, and so that was done the year before we even started building the City Hall. They were very, very active in that, and so we were able to get that completed, and then we started showing designs to the residents, and people were able to see really what is their money going towards.
Right.
And one thing that I will say about this council. Having worked for other cities, you really see councils that operate in different fashions.
Oh, I'm sure.
This is a very, very transparent council, and I'm proud to be on that. And it's, we do love to hear from people.
Right.
Even if they're going to tell me something I don't want to hear.
Right.
it's still their opinion, and I'm always interested in hearing it.
Highway 55 is running out at a diagonal. So if there were some area where some transit-related project would be appropriate, that would probably be the one, because it runs diagonally through the city of Plymouth.
Yeah, that's true.
Out to out that way.
Now, another area I thought we'd focus on, because it's true of all cities, is that there's construction and kind of development or redevelopment happening in Plymouth. And we'll start with one of the projects that's getting a little play on the media. Can you tell me about the current status on the reconstruction of a bridge over 494 on Rockford Road?
Yes, I can. So the Rockford Road, or County Road 9, it's a county road, goes over
when it gets to there.
When it goes over 494, that's right. That bridge is too narrow, and I believe the number was 88,000 cars per day go over that road. And while they were adding that lane on 394, we experienced a lot of congestion on that. With the high density building that's going on out to the west, we're just really finding a lot of problems on that. So last year, the Mayor Slavic and I and a few others went down, and we got some funding from the state, $10 million. It's a $22 million bridge, and it's meant to widen the road to increase flow. So people in the right lane, they'll go off onto the highway. There'll be 2 full lanes going across, and then for the first time, there'll be 2 full lanes turning left, allowing basically the most of people to get through that, and trying to avoid that bottleneck. So it's been a big effort on our part to get that done.
Well, and you were lucky to get the state to agree, right?
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a trouble there, but we got some state funds allocated. MnDOT initially was going to give us some funds and then kind of pulled them back, and there's a little bit of politics going on there. But I do believe we'll get that funding. But the city of Plymouth also will end up donating some funds to that.
And so the construction will take place over what time period?
It'll be a normal construction period over the summer. It'll be 3 months where you will not be able to use that bridge. The whole bridge will come down for about 3 months, and so we'll kind of have to find our ways around there. But that way is the most efficient way to take the old one down and put the new one up. But it'll be about 3 to 4 months.
So people will be kind of scrambling for a little while.
They will be. I suspect they'll be going up to Schmidt Lake Road and crossing over, and or maybe down to County Road 6 or 55. They'll have to kind of figure out a different way for a little while, yes.
And then be happy in the result.
And then they'll be happy in the result,
Yeah, they did a whole lot of work out there last summer, too, on the highway, on 494.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So just be a continuation.
It's just a more continuation. As, like I said, we get more dense in Plymouth. That's the biggest thing that's happened in Plymouth is over the last 5 or 10 years is we've really added a lot more people.
Yes, you have.
We have as many people coming into the city during the day as we have leaving at night.
Wow.
And that's a lot of people.
That is.
That's
moving
a lot of
around,
people. We have a lot of businesses in Plymouth.
And then County Road 7 is some changes are occurring out in that area. And then can you locate where County Road 47 is for our viewers out there?
As I said at the beginning of my discussion, on Northwest Boulevard in Pineview goes under 494. That's County Road 47.
Okay.
And it's a county road, and it goes all the way out past 101.
Right.
And that's a narrow road. It's a 2-lane road. And a lot of people wonder about why do we build all these developments and we don't do the road first? That was my question.
Right.
Well, that's because it's easy to build a development. A farmer sells his farmstead, a developer buys it, they develop a plan, they bring it to the city, they get approval. The road's there, so the road's there, so they go ahead and develop it. And we've developed all these developments now and added thousands of homes, and that's a lot of traffic on the 2-lane road.
Definitely.
Currently, Hennepin County doesn't have it slated to do any work on that for about 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So that's gonna, a lot of people aren't too happy about that. So we're trying to work with the county to develop a way, maybe even the city of Plymouth could build it if they'd give us the money to do it.
Oh, sure.
And I think that should be a 4 or 5 lane road.
Oh, right.
And with a trail next to it, it's just necessary. Because out beyond 101, that's the next area to be developed. And so that'll be a pretty important road coming in and out if you're not on Rockford or Bass Lake Road. It's really, in between the middle of the
Well,
two.
and then being where it's located, it'll help take some of the load off of the other two.
Absolutely.
If you had more lanes.
Absolutely. As everyone finds a new way around,
Right.
you find a way, the quickest way to get there, and it's good to have a lot of different roads so that traffic can make adjustments.
right,
You know,
right.
when the Google says that's blocked, it's nice to be able to say, well, I know another way
Right,
of getting
right.
there. But for those homeowners especially,
Uh-huh.
and for the people who ride their bike and walk along it, it is dangerous. It's a 2-lane road. It would really be great if we could get that developed over the next couple of years.
So it's kind of at like a beginning stage where you're reaching out to get the resources?
Yes, we're
Okay.
reaching out to Hennepin County, state if we can, but it really is a priority. We started the conversation about what are our priorities.
right.
Those two were big on our
Uh-huh.
priority list.
Now, development in Plymouth. What kinds of new businesses are coming into Plymouth?
Well, you know, Plymouth, a lot of people don't know that Plymouth is a leader in manufacturing businesses. We have, I believe, the most manufacturing businesses in number of any city in the state of Minnesota.
Oh, pretty cool.
We have the most medical device companies in
Oh,
the state
definitely,
of Minnesota,
yeah.
and we have several kind of moving in and moving out.
Yeah.
We've dedicated our own economic development person to help facilitate people coming in and out. We have a lot of different buildings, different ages, different heights, and so if people are interested, we finally have somebody that they can come and talk to about that. We have heard of a couple of big companies that are
Right.
interested in Plymouth, but we're not supposed to say anything
No,
about
not
it.
until they actually make the deal, right?
That's right, not until they actually come in with something, and that's very smart.
Oh,
It
right,
wouldn't be
right.
very prudent of me to say, oh,
No,
guess who's
no,
coming into town?
no.
And then.
But you're in discussion with
We are,
developers,
and
right?
it's usually done with the city manager and his team.
Uh-huh.
And then once they have something a little bit more formal, they'll bring it into the city council and we'll approve it or not.
So currently, there aren't any empty areas getting developed in the city of Plymouth? Big projects?
As far as commercial?
Yeah, as far as commercial goes.
Well, we have a few areas
Oh,
that,
okay.
by Smith's Medical, we recently approved a hotel
Oh.
for people to stay at Smith's Medical when
right.
they have like employees that want to stay for a few months. It's
Right.
an extended stay. So there's that, and there's other areas that could be
Right,
redeveloped.
right.
And TCF recently redeveloped
Oh, right.
that big building down there by Home Depot
Yeah.
and brought in 10 of their banks into it as their headquarters. Now with the recent news,
Yeah.
it might be open. Just
Yeah,
saying.
who
We don't
knows?
know.
Yeah, and things do keep changing.
There's constant
Right,
change in the city
right.
of Plymouth. Absolutely. Constant change, constant development. And so if people are interested in that, they should call Danette Parr and they should find out what is available.
Right.
Because we love our businesses.
Right.
We love to bring them in. We love them to expand in Plymouth. We're trying our best to work with them
Oh, right,
to
right.
help them come in and
Well, it's important to get that kind of attitude out into the public so that the businesses know they're going to get help when they come to your city.
Yep, and we have a very good relationship with our businesses. They do like the city of Plymouth.
Right.
We have a very highly educated residential population.
Oh, right.
And so we have really wonderful people, wonderful schools, and it's just a wonderful area of the city to do business. Like you said, with all the transit routes
Right.
in and out, ways to
Right.
get in and out, it's a wonderful area to do business.
And then another area in development is either single housing projects, is that the right word? Developments, anyway.
Developments.
Single housing family developments or multi-family housing. Is any of that going on?
And our recent, what we just talked about with County Road 47,
Right.
that's exactly what's going in. Multiple developments, including single-family housing, twin homes, duplexes, and multiple homes right along 47 are going in.
So
And
that area of your city
they've
is
already
starting to
been
fill
approved
in.
almost all the way to 101.
Ah,
So yes, over the last 5 years, we've pretty much filled up that area. There's still a few open, a few farms left, but for the most part, over the 5 or 10 years, that's really filled in.
so you don't have a lot of empty land left.
No, we don't. We have a lot of available land that gets redeveloped at
Oh,
this
right,
point.
they can be, because.
Yep. Now we talk about redevelopment.
Yeah, then you're in a different
Yep.
stage.
We're moving past initial development.
right.
In the next 3 or so years, we'll probably be fully developed and we'll be redeveloping.
Mm.
And we already are doing some of that.
Now, an area that I'm sure lots of people, when they heard it was Plymouth, is Four Seasons Mall. What is happening in that area, or what? Maybe give a little bit of history for those that aren't real familiar with it.
Glad to do it. So Four Seasons Mall has been empty since I've been a council member for 5 years.
Okay.
Previous to that, there was a strip mall on it, and a big corporation bought the property. They wanted to build a large, big box store that was not zoned for that area and would have brought in a lot of extra traffic.
Oh, yeah.
The residents and other people did not want that, so they never actually came in and submitted it. And in the meantime, they put it up for sale for a couple $1 million less than what they bought it for.
Right.
This particular area, a lot of people don't know that the strip mall itself is built on pilings. That the earth underneath it is very soft and there's a lot of water in there. So it really makes it a difficult site to redevelop.
Oh, yeah, it would.
And for that reason, and I think that reason alone, a lot of people have taken a look at the site and said, yeah, you know what, there's too much for us to do. But 2 years ago, a gentleman came in and he was going to build a couple of hotels, some parking ramps, some housing, some retail. We gave him TIF financing. The Bassett Creek Watershed gave him money to be able to do a nice water project on there. And he just never fully came together. And that was just heartbreaking because the city did what we can do, and that's all we can do. And still the private sector has to finance it and build it. It would have turned it from an empty, vacant mall into over $50 million worth of properties, which we'd love, but it didn't work out. So a lot of people in that area, and that's of course my ward, Ward 4, very frustrated about that. And I don't blame them for their frustration. I mean, you don't like looking at it. I've gone in several times and say, why can't we just, condemn the building or something? And there's a reason for that, it changes the structure of the TIF financing, so it lessens the value actually by taking the building down. Which
So that wouldn't be good.
Counterintuitive to me, but that's the reality. So there are other developers looking at it now. If you've noticed over the past 5 years, there really hasn't been a lot of development around the cities other than high-density housing. So a lot of people don't want high-density housing, but we built the access down on 55. Golden Valley is building a couple, and in that particular corridor, that's about the only interest builders are getting banking and financial backing for. So the retail development has gone down because of Amazon. I mean, who doesn't like Amazon, right? But it has an effect. And so
we want to give a thank you to the mayors and city council people that have shared their thoughts and their ideas about what's happening in their city. We hope that you learned something about it, that you've got a new idea or a new grasp on what's happening on that part of that your city is doing. And remember to be in contact with your mayors and city council people and your city staff too, because they're a valuable source of information for you, so that you're getting your ideas into the process. Because if cities get